Let's go to our next story. You know, the subsidy regime remains a thorny one, and its burden on the country's economy had always been trumpeted by economic managers and many other stakeholders. But the federal government believes the subsidy template is the way to go. The Senate, after considering the report of the Committee on the Revised 2022 Fiscal Framework, had said subsidy is the thing. The Red Chamber has consequently approved the President's request to increase fuel subsidy to 4 trillion naira. Certain things in my country simply refuse to go away, Jide.
Yes, as we have seen, the subsidy regime has refused to go away, and this has some far-reaching implications for our country. 4 trillion is a lot of money. It's a lot of money, and if we spend a quarter of our
national budget
paying for subsidy, and we take another huge chunk of our budget to service debt, then something is wrong somewhere. Something is wrong somewhere. So we already decided to postpone the evil day by suspending implementation of the PIA.
Yeah. Advisedly?
Yeah. Yeah, people, you know, as I've said in the past, petrol is a security product. It's not something that you can just simply increase the price without expecting some very harsh repercussions.
Yeah.
And I think that in an election year, that's not the sort of decision that a government wants to take. So government has wisely, bearing its own interest in mind, decided that this is not the right time to
give effect to
yes,
the PIA.
And that's why government postponed the implementation to such a time when we are sure that the elections have held, and it won't have a predictable effect on decision making by the voter. So that's what my own concern is. Putin has declared war in Ukraine. We are supposed to be making money, but we are not making money. Rather, we are losing money as a result of that. We were given, to show you how things have continued to go down for us, OPEC gave us a quota that we cannot even meet. So
in terms of production.
Yes,
exactly.
So that we can even make a little more money. Yeah. We can't meet our quota.
Now there's gas in the bargain, which we should have brought more money to us.
We can't make. In the past, we would have been smiling to the bank, if I'm permitted to use that phrase. In the past, we would have been jubilating about the misfortune of people in Ukraine, you know, about something that is causing loss of lives on both sides, you know. Now, we can't make money. Our subsidy bill is rising, and even the states can't earn as much as they used to, can't share as much as they used to share from the distributable revenue from the federation account.
Please, Jide, let's take Ada from Jos. Sister Ada,
Hello.
Good evening to you.
Good evening. Yes, Ada calling from Jos Plateau State.
Okay then.
Journalists hang out to. I thank God today is Good Friday.
All right.
I just pray the sacrifice Jesus made for us will also deliver us from what is happening in this country.
Okay.
Now, I want to talk about the President Buhari now. The President Buhari has actually done so much in terms of infrastructure, but the insecurity has really overshadowed it. So what I want to ask you now is, you are saying that the next should tell us how we will tackle this insecurity. Did President Buhari not tell us how we will tackle it? I heard very well, unless I didn't hear well. He said he will lead from the front. That means he will do everything humanly possible to make sure he checks this issue of security. What do we have now? So how are we going to know if that person, how will we know? And it happened in 2015 or down the line, 2019, he still came back. So you should tell me how we will know. Then the subsidy, as far as I'm concerned, there's no fraud in that subsidy. I don't even believe that we need 4 trillion naira or whatever, billion naira or whatever they're talking about for subsidy. You know, that will sort out, you know, and all that. So why are we digging a new
Thank you, Sister Ada. Sister Ada, that's why we help mold opinion for you based on the facts available to us regarding this.
We still need to know what people have in store for us. People shouldn't just tell, oh, we are contesting an election, want to be president. What do you want to do differently?
Yeah.
That conversation has to be there. People need to be able to listen to you and then make an informed choice at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Exactly. If your plans are very solid, Nigerians will know. You know? So it's not enough to just say, okay, I'm going to defeat insecurity. How do you intend to do that?
And your word is your bond.
Yes.
If you fail,
I'm going to reflate the economy. You must tell us how you intend to make that happen. So there's nothing wrong in demanding that people who want to contest tell us how what they want to do for us.
Paul, you know, and somebody had said the antidote to subsidy regime is getting our refineries to be working, and for that matter, refining products here locally. I agree. So, but you are looking at the Dangote refinery, which holds a lot of promise. That alone is not enough.
It's not enough. It's very shameful that we are still talking about subsidy now. If we don't find a way to increase local product or to start refining locally, subsidy will always be used to compel government. You understand? The labor unions will always come up and compel government to, even future governments will still be forced to, you know, subsidize the fuel subsidy, and it's also an avenue for corruption. We've seen people that collected money for subsidy and imported nothing. Now, we must find a way to start refining locally. We should have been profiting from other people's woes now. Although we are not happy about the war, nobody's happy about the war, but it has created an opportunity.
But it happened happy about the war.
It's created an opportunity, which we cannot take because we cannot produce enough locally. And then we think subsidy is the way to go. Honestly, we don't need subsidy. A time has to come when we have to stop. But nobody is going to listen to a government who wants to remove subsidy when certain things have not been put in place. So that's just it.
Judy, again, still talking about the subsidy regime.
Yes.
Looks like we have a call. Olushala is reaching us from Ibadan. Good evening, Olushala.
Yes.
How are you?
Fine, thank you, citizen. Good evening, sir.
Welcome.
Good evening.
DKO, good evening, sir. How
Good
are you,
evening.
sir? Uncle Dada.
Good evening.
Sir. Now, DKO, is it not that the Senate are only trying to plunge us back into trouble? Are we getting it right with this new subsidy regime that has just been signed? 4 trillion naira for subsidy. DKO, are we not into more problems? Now, are we not pushing the days of trouble that after 2023 general election, the new incoming president and his workers and his people, are they not going to find it very tough in bringing Nigerians out of this quagmire that we are now? Despite their promises, is what is happening now not going to have a ripple effect on us? That is my question. Jide, happy Easter to all of you, and God bless you all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Jide, I was going to say, these things we call illegal refining can't we make them, work to an extent we can rely on these so-called illegal refineries to be dealing, to be filling in?
Please, leave the illegal refiners alone.
For the illegal refiners?
Leave the illegal refiners alone. A serious government should be able to build refineries in 8 years. I've seen it done. Even Angola began building a refinery recently. And it can be on the basis of build, operate, and transfer. If you make the environment conducive, people will come and build refineries here. So we have no reason in the world. People who are suffering, Nigerians who are suffering because diesel prices are so high now, it is because we are not refining it. And global oil prices have gone up significantly. If we were refining AGO in our country, it won't be this high.
Yeah.
Many companies who will die this year, it is a prediction that is bound to come to pass because they cannot cope. People are paying as much as 750 to 800 to buy a liter of diesel.
Okay.
Something that they were buying at 225 naira per liter just a few months back. It suddenly goes to 800, 750, 800. How can people cope? How can people plan?
We have radio stations now.
The same thing with aviation fuel.
Can't do 24-hour broadcast.
Oh, no,
So how can you?
Cannot.
Yes, some of them are reducing transmission hours. So how do people cope? There are so many reasons why we are suffering in our country. A government that promised so many modular refineries, that is going to build refineries and promise that we will have electricity to apply consistently, because we had Fashola talking about that.
You talk about
if you can't do that,
you talk about modular refineries, but licenses were granted. Don't you remember?
So where are those refineries?
I'm wondering.
Where are they? What are they producing? So if we were Dangote, of course, 650,000 barrels a day. That is big. It's one of the biggest refineries in the world, not the biggest. Those saying the biggest, they need to go and read.
Yeah.
It's not the biggest, it's just one. It's not even in the top 6. So Dangote will help in a way, but don't forget he's a businessman and he's out to make money.
Yeah.
The state should be able to have refineries of its own and reduce this pain that Nigerians are going through. The subsidy bill is high because we are not refining at home. That's just the simple explanation. We are bringing everything in. When we bring them in, the landing cost will then be passed on to the end users, to you and I. So why won't it be high? The cost of the price of petrol, crude oil, is going up. Petrol is the byproduct.
It is.
So refined crude oil will certainly be more expensive than crude oil itself.
Paul, you remove crude, raw crude, outside of the country for refining. There are byproducts which nobody is talking about, if you understand what I mean. Grease, there are so many things.
Exactly.
Engine oil.
Engine oil. It does not make sense. Why should we be suffering in the midst of plenty? It does not just...
If you ask me now, how I go
it doesn't just make... all of this don't make sense. I keep wondering why the turnaround maintenance or the building of refineries or maintenance of refineries has continued to be a problem in Nigeria. This is our main source of revenue.
And we are
we are just playing with it.
Unless you see a country like Saudi Arabia determined to remain the leader in that sector, dedicating some refineries to export of refined crude oil, then others just for consumption
local
at home. So why would they have problems? If you have more than 10 refineries, you can decide that, okay, these 5 refineries are for domestic consumption. These ones are for export. And of course, they will find countries like Nigeria that will come and buy. There are some countries in the world that have refineries and they don't even have a drop of
crude oil.
Again, the issue of insecurity will also undermine any investments in that sector.
Oh, obviously.
Even if you give licenses and then you say, okay, let's do BOT scheme or whatever, a lot of people will be discouraged from investing in the sector because, of course, who wants to set up a refinery that unknown government, I hate that phrase, gunmen.
Yeah.
You know,
you see, what boggles the mind, Paul and Jide, is that we do these things willfully, by choice. And we see...
We chose to import petroleum products by choice.
By choice.
We chose to.
That's why
because if we've been facing that problem since the Abacha era, is it not enough time to build refineries or make the ones that we have good enough to produce these things at home? Even if it is half of what we now export, that the refineries are able to help us to refine. The subsidy bill will go down drastically.
Yeah, it would.
How can we have a country that will now rely 100% on imported petrol, and you have refineries?
Thank you, Jide.
It's unheard of.
We must go. But just do know the Red Chamber, the Nigerian Senate, has approved a sum of 4 trillion naira, Mr. President asked for, to cushion the subsidy regime. All right, that will just about do it for the show today. If you missed this particular one, join us at 11 later today for a later edition. And of course, on Sunday, we have a fresh, new 2-hour package for you, beginning from 1:30. We are also on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I'm Citizen Jones Kusen. Bye-bye now. And one more time, a happy holiday to you.